Hello. Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Turn that down a bit. There we go. Hello. It is the second dev stream. Wow, that is a really bright light. Okay, cool. Remember, next week you need to try and sort out lighting. I might actually try in a break. Anyway, hello, everyone. How are we all doing? I'm good. Hope you all are good as well. Sorry for this being a little bit late. I was shopping, doing a weekly shop. And things got away from me, but that's fine. That is all fine. Today we are going to be actually doing some proper development on the game. Doing the combat system. If you saw the short or any of the posts on Twitter or Instagram or anything, you would have maybe seen this. Oh, let's go this way. The combat system plan. I'll get to that in a moment. Put you down there. But yeah, we're gonna start that soon. So I hope everyone is doing well. Gonna go for this music, I think. So, same music as I played end of last stream, because I know that's not copyrighted. Or especially didn't come as copyrighted. The music at the beginning did. When I wasn't talking, that got muted out by Twitch, but this seems to be okay. So I'm going to go with this, and then I'm going to try and find a proper playlist of music that won't get copy struck or muted after the fact, but that's fine. I hope we're all good. Right, actually, let's bring this up and let's just get started, because I started late, so let's stop dilly-dallying. So, today we're making the combat system, and in fact, if I just put this down again, we can show you. Do I want to show you the dev timeline? I'll show the dev timeline on this. I'll show you it here. So, I show it on the game design doc, is what I'm saying. I was going to put some other so I was gonna split out my game design doc and put the bits I can show and stream it into a separate document, just so I can scroll freely. But I didn't do that in time, so I might do that now. But apart from, let's not mind that. Let's just go now and go here. Fact, let's move that away. That's the music, and let's just drag you. There we go. Hide you. So yeah, dev timeline. Hope you guys remember this from last time. Yep, almost finished with these. Just need to finalize this. Done play movement basically. That was done way before the stream started. And so now we're into the combat system. So we need to sort out damaging and damage types and resistances and conditions, and we're gonna make a couple basic attacks today, hopefully, for 2 armor cards. So that's kind of the plan, the very overview of the plan, and then we can work on the other the abilities and actions system, and if we're going to change it. To be fair, that I'm going to put that as in progress as well, so that already might be done realistically, because the combat system is sort of linked into that, as well as linked into the card ability system as well. So those three might, the moment everything starts coming together, all those things may get done just anyway. So I'm going to turn the music down a bit more. Let me know if the background music is too loud or what. So yeah, for the first 10 steps, we're getting there, and I did say we should finish this by the 5th of July, and we are currently in the 20th, but I feel like actually this will be done this week, if not next week. We'll see about that, though. We'll see about that, so we can hide that. Back in Unity, let me go back to full screen so I can show you the plan. So, the plan. Here it is, the combat system plan. Let me move around and just give you a quick overview. So I did a 10-step plan, basically. We'll probably not get to the 10th one today. And also, mainly because number 10 is make the combos or the alternate attacks for the armor card weapons, the body weapons. I'm still sort of figuring out actually how I want to do that. If it's different buttons, same buttons, so on. So if we get to that, that'll probably be more just brainstorming and thinking how I want to do that rather than actually implementing it. I'll probably implement that off stream. However, the other steps, we're going to start with creating the damage types and the conditions scriptable objects. I'm going to make them scriptable objects. Instead of things like enums, because then they're going to be easy to expand upon if I need to later. They're just nice. I can drag in, the sharp or the blunt damage type, and it's going to be a lot nicer, I think. The conditions also are going to contain a specific code for how they're going to work. The burn condition damage gives you fire damage essentially over time. So that will contain all the code for that, and it's going to be all nice and contained. So those are steps 1 and 2. I'm not going to create all the conditions. I'm just creating the framework for them for me to actually create them when necessary. Step 3, all add types and conditions in iDamageable. iDamageable is an interface. So basically, all that you need to know is anything that can be damaged, aka the player or enemies, or maybe anything else in the world, but generally player and enemies, will get iDamageable, and that just allows everything that needs to be damaged to use the same code, and it's a very clean way to do it. But I need to add the damage types and conditions into there. For update, the Dragonic Knight attack. The Dragonic Knight is one of the first cards I created. It's a body armor card, and it uses the sword as a weapon. So we're going to be focusing on that today. And you see here it just says type conditions. I need to add in type and condition stuff for that, and I can probably show you when we get to it. The plan for all the cards in the spreadsheet. I may only show you like a snipping tool, small section of them, but we'll get there. So then it's create the sword script to do the actual attacking with, because the Dragonic Knight is only going to sort of do all the animation stuff and things like that. It's also all the cards are scriptable objects, so I'll get to showing you all that later. Then once that's done, we'll give it a test, make sure our enemies can be take damage from using it, and then we'll go from there. Then we need to create the Pirate Captain attack. That is another body armor. That's the second one you can get. So it's in the beginning of the game. Basically, you get a choice between Dragonic Knight or Pirate Captain. Then you go from there. And so with that one, I've already created the Dragonic Knight one. I haven't really created the Pirate Captain one yet. So we'll do that. Then we'll create the gun prefab, the projectile prefab and scripts. And we'll basically make a pirate gun, and then make the burn condition, and we can try the condition system out as well. And then if we get to it, we can plan out the combo and alternate attacks. As you see down here, this is just a sort of a general plan for me of what's going to be in each of these scripts, things like that. You don't really need to know what that is, but if you do understand it, that is there. Hello, anyone new joining the chat? Right, gonna put this down now. If you have any questions, about that plan, let me know. I think we should just get right into it with creating the damage types and conditions scriptables. I'm gonna put this over here actually. There we go. So I can look down there. Brilliant. Right. Where are we at? Here we are. Let's go back into here. Right. So I got a bunch of scripts here. Let me show you basically where we are right now. So last time we left off with just making an environment to play around in. Let me full screen this. Here's our guy. We did a little environment. Sort of moved things around a little bit since last time, and I changed the enemies up a bit to make them a bit bigger, and I just have one of them. And it follows you. That's fine. That's all I need it to do right now because we're just creating the first basic systems. And I did change the deck. So last time I had like a whole deck of 25 cards. Now I've only got 2, and those 2 being the Draconic Knight and the Pirate Captain cards, which, for Draconic Knight, changes the body there. Gives you a big sword. You didn't see this part last time, but here it is. And right now, so this is stuff that I did like a year ago. And right now, if I left click, it does an attack, and it sort of does a combo system like that. It's a bit janky, and don't have the actual animations in yet, but this is all I need to test it. Actually, we should probably make this one maybe a bit smaller, and so we'll see what we can do about that. But it doesn't really matter. Like I said, this is all just for testing. And then with Pirate Captain, we need to probably remove the sword, so I need to remember to do that. But it changes your colour and it will swap out the weapon. So I need to create all that stuff and do all the code for that. But that is essentially where we left things off. So yes, we need to create the scriptable objects for the damage types. And if we remember the go back here. Let me just scroll. See, this is why I need to put everything, all my game design document stuff in its separate, in a separate one. I don't mind you looking at because I'm bound to drag it off screen and go to the correct parts. But we see here damage types, blunt, sharp, energy, heat, cold. We only need 5. And then here are the conditions and what they do. So we just need to... So right now, we're going to create the 5 damage types, because no extra code really needs to go with them. And then we're going to create a couple of these, but only properly code right now the heat, the burn condition. So they need to be scriptable objects. I'm going to bring you back. We have a folder for them. Like I said, all scriptable objects right now for me are essentially just the card chests, so like the card packs, like TCG card packs, and the cards themselves. They're all scriptable objects. Scriptable object is essentially an object that it is scripted, essentially. I do hate when I explain things and I essentially just use the reverse of the word and what it means. But essentially, it's a little object you can drag around and you can add in read-only data, for essentially what that is. So all the cards, so for instance, where's the Draconic Knight one? Here it is. It gives a card name, its sprites, its cost, its group, and melee, its card faction, its cost, its damage, and then anything else it needs. It's going to obviously add more stuff as well. So right now it has a weapon model, and probably at some point when I get the actual stuff in, when I get the actual art in and models in, it's going to probably contain all the armor models and things like that. So yeah, we'll do that. So we need to actually create the script for it though. And I'm going to use So this is the base armor card, and this is the Dragonic Knight scriptable, where all the code is. And this is going to be changed in a moment. But let's just create a scriptable. So where are we? We need to go into scripts and scriptables. And I want... I'm going to create another folder. Card chest. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to create another folder, basically. Called damage types. Let me know if I'm gonna quickly go back to there. I will say, so if you keep seeing my background is let's go. Diaboromon Diablamon from Digimon. The movie, like I was coming out the screen. So that's what that is. Because I realized I uploaded a Twitch clip as a YouTube short and things like that, and you can see during the short it sort of fades away. Actually, I can show you in where's let me go to my shorts. If you go to my YouTube channel. You can see here I was probably like transitioning from screens and it sort of came up there, and I just noticed that. So I found that really funny. So if ever that happens, you know what that is. But yeah, so let's create a script, and we'll make it a scriptable object, and we'll call it probably just we'll call it just damage types, or damage type. Yeah, we'll call it damage type. Yeah, I do hate how that always opens up. All right, come on, Unity, hurry up, please. Oh god, it's so slow. Right, here we are. We don't need any of that stuff. So essentially, with the damage types, in the plan that I've got, down there, we really only need a name, and even then, we don't even really need that. So essentially, what we're creating those little objects, and essentially, if I go back here, we'll use this. So, say this said slashing instead of fire water, or sharp is one of our damage types. If someone is resistant to sharp damage, we would compare the resistances to what the damage types are a weapon or an ability does. And if they match, then if it's a resistance, they will probably take less damage. If it's a vulnerability, they'll probably take more damage. So essentially, that's how they work. We'll compare this object, and if it's the same object, then they will, depending on if it's a vulnerability or resistance, they'll do more or less damage. That's the idea behind these scriptable objects. So, with that said, essentially we just... actually, that's F12. There we go. Essentially, we just need to call something scriptural object, and and just give a string name. We do actually also, though, want to copy this. I always forget what this is. And so this is going to be a way for us to create those objects in in Unity. So we don't want it to go through cards. We want it to go through damage types and I think what do we actually want? So damage types. Actually, no. I think we just want to call it damage type. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So and then we just want a public string that we're going to call name. I don't want to capitalize that. Actually, yeah, we should probably do type name. There we go. And that's, I think, essentially really it for the damage type scriptable. It's a very simple scriptable that we can make. The conditioning one's going to be a bit more complex, but essentially that's all we need. We just need to compare the objects, and that's really all the damage types are needed for. So with that said, we can go into. Let's change card scriptable object into. Do I want to change? Yes, because. Do I want to? Basically contemplating whether just to create another FOD for the damage and resistance scriptable objects. Do I want to? Maybe. Yeah, let's create separate folders for them. So that's card scriptable objects, and this is. No, let's not. Change my mind. Let's create a folder in here called cards. Let's put the option and armor cards in there. The chests we'll just keep like that, and let's create another folder in here called damage types, and then let's create another folder for the conditions, and then we'll change scriptable objects. There we go. That's going to change a bunch of files in here. So this is my essentially this is how programmers like organize all their stuff. And it's essentially, it goes through GitHub, and I've literally forgotten the name of it. Source control. There we go. Or version control. I'm a great programmer. Yeah, and it sort of helps us version things, and if we mess something up, like if we make a bug and then we need to undo it, we can go roll back to a previous version and start from there. That's what that does, basically. It's source tree. You can use GitHub desktop. There's a bunch of free ones. I use source tree because you can sort of see the branches, and it's quite visual. I do like it. Well, I've also used GitHub desktop. Anyway, let's just create the 5 objects now then. So scriptables, damage types, and then we should see up here. Yep, we see my camera is blocking it. So there we go. We see cards, and then we can create different cards. So here are the fire armor cards. Here's all the basic boost ones. Then we can create a card chest, or now we can create a damage type. So if you click that, let's call this damage type blunt. Do I want to call it blunt damage type or just blunt? I'm just going to call it blunt. No, I should probably call it damage type. Because in here we can just call it, because that's what the name is for. I may add a few more things in here depending on if I want to show like a list of damage types. Maybe can assign each one a symbol. So maybe I'll put in like a sprite field here as well, like I did with the like Dragonic Knight. Like it has a card sprite here that just links back to this. Maybe we'll see. Essentially, we just need to create a bunch of those. So blunt, sharp, damage, type. And if we look back at here, blunt, sharp, energy, heat, cold. How is everyone doing, by the way? Who's watching? Hope you're all doing good. If you need let me start again. I'm a voiceover, by the way. Hi me. I won't get tongue-tied. If you need me to explain anything, let me know in chat. I am having to switch between YouTube and Twitch chat a little bit, rather than just... So, in Streamlabs, in Streamlabs, I have multi-stream chat, which should connect both YouTube and Twitch chat. But there was a little issue with it a couple of days ago where it didn't really do that properly. And it only showed Twitch chat. So I am having to occasionally switch between YouTube and Twitch to... or I'm having to switch between Streamlabs and YouTube to see. I could just get them on. Actually, let me try. So if I do this and no, that's not working. I was going to try and split screen them, but it just hides the chat, which is brilliant. That's all I want. Anyway, let's just create the other one. So I am having to switch between. So maybe if you want to use Twitch chat, that will probably definitely come through. But I'll see if I can get that fixed at some point. Damage type, we want heat damage type. And then finally, as the last one is and cold. I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't. Cold damage type. I may make more damage types in the future, but I feel like these sort of cover lots of all the bases. So blunt is for things like, hammers and shields and like blunt objects. Sharp is for things like swords and maybe like arrows and like anything sharp, obviously. Energy is heat is for things like fire or lava or hot things. Cold is for cold things like ice and probably things like water. Energy is for any sort of like magical energy that's not really heat or cold. It's sort of like I don't want heat or cold, but I want some sort of like magical energy, and so we'll make that damage type. So here are the 5 damage types, and that's what I really need to set those up. Next are the conditions, and they're going to be a little bit more different, and we're not going to create them all now, because we need to set up damaging and the damage system and the combat system before we set up the other conditions. But we will create the scriptable object for them now. Oh, I don't need sprites, we need scripts. Scriptables and... yeah, let's go and create a folder. Technically, you don't really need to create a folder for damage types. You could just have it here, but I'll separate them. I also probably do one for card chests as well. So we'll call this conditions. And then we'll create a C# script called con. The condition scriptable. Open that up. There we are. And it's going to be a similar sort of thing. So it's going to derive from scriptable objects. We are going to, if I go back here, F12 for that. So actually I've written it down here. What am I doing? So we need, for the conditions, we need the name of the condition. We want the length of it, aka how long the condition is going to last for. Or at least as a base. I may put in, it can last, modifiers to last longer, but a base amount of how long it's going to last just without any modifiers. And then we're going to put in a little abstract void. To like here to sort of trigger the condition. And they're probably going to be enumerators as well, because we need to, make it last for the length. So, in fact, so we'll make it an abstract called condition. We're not going to do this because we're going to then create another bunch of scriptable objects that derive from this, similarly to Dragonic Knight. So Dragonic Knight derives from armor card, which then derives from card as well. So essentially this is just our base. Now you get public string. That's just going to be condition name. Do we want it to be the length to be a float? I think yeah, we do. Flossed. We won't call it length. We'll call it base time. Base time. Base length. We'll call it base time. And then what I'll very quickly do is just go in here. So we don't really need station. We'll just take this. So we're going to take this, and then in here we probably shouldn't be game object, but I'm going to keep it as game object for now. Same with these. I might need to change that later before I get too deep with too many cards. Instead of trigger ability, we're going to call it trigger condition, just to name it something different. And then as a base, that's all we should need. Dun, 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 dun. Let's call this target. Because we're not... So, like, with the armor cards, we're passing in the object, which is essentially just the player. But with conditions, we want to apply the condition to an enemy or us if, an enemy applies it to us. So the target is going to be either us or the player, depending on who's taking the condition, the status effect. Okay. So that should be that. And so that's essentially the base script, similar to armor card. It's just the base armor card. And now we go back into here. We'll create another folder called conditions. Conditions. Maybe let's rename that then from conditions. We'll rename that to fuck it, no, we'll call it conditions. It'll be funny. Awful don't ever do this. Awful file structure. So we'll create a new C# script. And so this will be the burn. I'm only going to create one condition today, which is the burn one. So I open the burn condition up. And so we're going to create a scriptable object of this class instead of creating a bunch from conditions. So we created a bunch from just the basic damage types because all we really need is the name. But with the conditions, we need to add in this here, which is a function. And the things inside here needs to be different for each condition. So we're then creating a script for the burn condition, and then we're going to create a scriptable object for that so we can pass that around. So instead of deriving from scriptable object, we'll derive it from condition, which will make a scriptable object because this is a scriptable object. And this needs to be an abstract, doesn't it? So there we go. Actually, oh, it doesn't need to. No, because it will drive. Yes, cool. Yes, so we had to bring in this, and right now it's just going to throw a system message. And then we can add the other things in for the burn condition, because we also need to add specific things in for the burn condition. But we'll do that later. So we're just going to set this up now. We're going to, let me just take it from here. No, let me take it from here. The conditions, and then this is the burn. Oh, I've removed the last slash. And so this should come up now in here when it finishes loading. If we go to scriptables, conditions, if we go in here, create a condition called burn. Burn condition. Do I actually want them to have spaces in it? What do I do for the cards? I don't really have. Yeah. Oh no, I put spaces. Okay. Burn condition. So I have a name and a base time, and that's taken from the base condition. So, because this is the stuff that all conditions need, and then we'll add specific stuff in here. So we're gonna leave the burn condition for now. So we tick things off right now. So let's go back to full screen cam. We can tick some things off. Oh, sorry. Let's put it here. We can tick off that. We can essentially tick off the condition scriptable. So now we're on to adding those into the damageable. Wonderful. So damageable. Let's go back here. It's an interface essentially. Go back here. And see, I've sort of already planned for it. That I attach this to any other script, so like the enemy script here, damageable, and that lets the game know that that the enemies can be damaged. If I didn't have that, they won't be able to. And so in this, I need to create two lists. One for the resistances and vulnerabilities, so two lists for that. And then in take damage here, I'm going to add in another parameter for the type, a list of damage types. And I probably will do it in take damage as well. So this is essentially, so in take damage, this is like the basic things to happen, and these are events that I can call to take damage essentially, and to do on death stuff. So for instance, in enemy, I also created a special enemy, our first basic enemy called the Crying. And so in the enemy, we have to bring in all of the stuff, similar to how we had to bring in this in the burn condition. And it brings it. We bring in the events for on take damage and on death, and we also had to bring in the take damage function itself. And so all enemies will do at least this when we take damage from them, and then we can also go in here and subscribe to the on take damage event. We've only subscribed to the on death event right now, but we could subscribe to the on death or on take damage events to do any other special things we wanted to. But right now, base enemies just doing take damage. I might do slightly different things for on death, or I might just make that a function like take damage as well. We'll see. But right now I'm happy with this. So we need to create two lists. We need to create a list of damage type. And that is going to be... so we need to create a list. Actually, let's move that there. Save that. Let me look something up quickly. Here we are. Yes. So, okay. Sorry. Right. Let's do it in here first. So I should probably do it in take damage. What am I doing? Gone blank. Damage types. Yes. So we want to add a list of damage types in here as a parameter and not conditions, because conditions are just going to be like in here, just applied to the target. But we do need to know their resistances and vulnerabilities, and this is where this would go. So instead of two lists, so yes, it's going to be 4 lists, probably. But here, so we take the damage and then the damage type, and it's going to be a list of damage types. Because maybe multiple. No, it's just going to be a damage type. Because we would do take damage multiple times if it is multiple types. That's what we'll do. Because that is a smart thing to do. So damage type. Call it damage type. And we'll do it the same here. I am just thinking now, if I bring us back to here, we do have drain. Health is reduced over time, and the plan for that was it doesn't do a damage type, it just removes your health. And so either I do it through iDamageable or I do it another way. I'm thinking what other way I'll do that. I'm going to do it like this for now, and if I need to, I can just create a non-damage type that says none, that no one's resistant or vulnerable to, and then it just takes... Maybe, yeah, I could do that. Okay. Give me a moment, because my throat's quite dry, so I'm going to get some water very quickly. I'll be back in a moment. So 1 second. Sorry. Lower, 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 low. Let's... There we go. Hello. Let me just switch back to computer capture. Oh, hello. Hello, hello. Got a drink? Hope you had time to as well. Oh, actually, let me full screen for a quick moment, just to do that. There we go. And move things around. I'll get used to this a lot quicker. Go back to that. There we go. Okay, right. All sorted. So, damage type. We need a list of resistances for damage types and conditions, and list of vulnerabilities for damage types and conditions. So, this is the one bit I needed to add in the game design document I haven't done yet. I've done resistances. I haven't done vulnerabilities. So, if you're resistant to a type of damage, you essentially take half, or you there's a calculation we can do. We'll do that in a minute. Enemies might be a bit different, but the player will take depending on it. And if you're resistant to a type of condition, the condition just won't affect you. If you're vulnerable, you'll probably take, to a damage type, you'll probably take double or more damage than what's normally there. And if you're vulnerable to a condition, I think it should last longer. It should last a double amount of the time. So, yeah. Oh, that does actually bring me to a point of in here. So in trigger condition, we should, yes, we should add in an float, because I made space time float. Time mods. So the time modifier is going to be probably multiplied or added on, something like that, to base time. Probably it's probably going to be multiplication. So we need to add that, and then in burn condition we're also going to have to float time mods. Yeah. There you go. Just remembered that. So we need to do that. That's fine. Where were we? We're in iDamageable. Right. So we need to create. You need to create 4 lists. A list of damage type, damage type, called resist. I need to check that these spellings are correct, because I that's the one thing I'm not good at spelling. I definitely want to make sure they're correct. Resistances, and then get. Do we want? So yeah, we'll do a similar thing that we did with health and max health, where we will just point to the resistances and damage types and do it like that. So create this. A few more times. Also we'll call it damage resistances. Vulnerable. Oh god, fuck these about vulnerability. Oh my god, it just came up in Google. You've been listening to me, Google, haven't you? How dare you listen to me? You little. So damage resistances, damage vulnerabilities. And condition. Damage resistances, damage vulnerabilities, condition resistances, condition vulnerabilities. Woo! Did it, yay! Oh, right. God, yeah, I'm thirsty today. Didn't know if you could hear my gulping, so I moved away from the mic. So we do that. We need to add the damage type into there, did that. That is basically updating the damageable. We have to update the enemy. And yeah, have to. Oh yeah, we have to update this first of all. So it was damage type with type or with the name. What did I call it? I just call it damage type. Damage type. There we go. That's okay. Crying is fine. Now we just need to add in these four. There we go. And we'll change them up in a minute. Actually, we'll get back to the enemy once we've done the next step. Oh yeah, the Dragonic Knight stuff. So this is where we're actually going to start creating some combats and things like that. If we go into our scenes, actually, we should probably. Okay, yeah. I know what. Yeah, we're going to create lists now for the enemies and stuff, and then do all that stuff now. It's going to be easier. And then we'll do all the calculating for, if it's resistant, if it's yada 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 yada. So not just that, we need a list of type. No, we need type condition, not type damage type. Just spotted that. Otherwise, these would all be just damage types rather than conditions. So you and you need to be those. Good. So a list of damage type called lowercase d damage resistances. And that will equal just a new list. And then let's copy that 3 more times. Damage resistances, damage vulnerabilities, condition resistances, condition vulnerabilities, but all lowercase at the beginning. There we go. Damage types. This is going to be conditions. What I will do is do that just because it's a lot otherwise. I like to have serialized field on different lines. Hope we're all good. And, oh yeah, type condition. These need to be. And then what am I doing? Oh yeah, I want to go back here. Sorry, a bit of admin. Right. Then essentially, we're going to do a similar thing, I think, with this. Where am I? Here. But not health. We're going to do it with damage resistances. There we go. Essentially, let's just copy that each time. And damage vulnerabilities will go here. Condition resistances and condition vulnerabilities. So essentially we're setting the ones that we're going to set in the inspector, and we're setting them to the eye damageable ones so that, and we're going to set them in here so that we can just use the eye damageable rather than trying to find, the enemy or target, things like that. So, nope. I'm gonna clean things up a little bit. Yeah, you there. Yeah, okay. So we're setting the current health to our max health. Yes, okay. So I was checking things off. I think it's all good. So now, if I'm not gonna do any extra stuff with take damage yet. I want to focus on the actual combat side of things. So if we go into the scene with our testing enemy, he has the crying enemy script. And here are his damage resistances, which is an empty list right now, and vulnerabilities, condition vulnerabilities, resistances, condition vulnerabilities, yada, yada, yada. So if we go into our scriptable objects, go into our damage types, is he vulnerable? So this is a basic enemy, so probably the most basic enemy isn't going to be resistant or vulnerable to any type of damage. They're just going to be basic and not take any more or less damage. Same with conditions. So if the crying enemy is actually our basic enemy, then I probably wouldn't actually even add it in any of these. But for instance, if we had maybe a lava monster or something, they probably would be resistant to burn and fire damage. But maybe they'll be vulnerable to cold, things like that. But just to show you, let's damage resistances and say they're resistant to cold. So we just have to drag that in there, and then for conditions, they're vulnerable to burn. And then essentially what we'll do is we'll just go in here when we want to apply the condition to them. We would check. In fact, instead of making that game object, we'll make that eye damageable. Call that the target. Do the same here. There we go. We'll check the eye damageable list of vulnerabilities and resistances. Inside here, we'll do that, and then if they are resistant or vulnerable, then we'll change things up, and that's the same thing for here. Inside here, we'll check these lists, and if they're resistant or vulnerable to damage type given, if it matches one of the lists, then we'll do more or less damage, things like that. So that's the plan. So. Oh, you okay? Or is it an old arrow that's going to fix? Yeah, it's going to fix itself. There we go. Wonderful. So, that's another thing we can tick off the list, basically. We added all the types and stuff into eye damageable. I won't go full screen for this. I'm just going to tick it here. Number 4 now is to update the Dragonic Knight attack. So as you probably saw at the beginning, if not, I'll give you another quick look. I will just take these away though, just for now. There we go. But if we quickly load up, like we maybe hopefully you saw at the beginning, Continue here. Draw. This is the Dragonic Knight one. There we go. And that makes you, have a red chest and a big sword. I might change that sword. There you go. And then what I already done is have this attack. So if I click once, click twice, click 3 times, that's all like the combo thing. Oh yeah, so it's a bit janky. So we're gonna need to fix that at some point, but we'll fix that when we get to the combo stuff. But this is what I did like a year ago when I was prototyping just things of how maybe I want things to look and so on. Obviously no artisan yet, obviously. Obviously no proper artisan yet. My point being, so this is just where we're at. And so this is the Dragonic Knight attack, and this is where it's at. I keep saying that, keep repeating myself, I'm sorry, but we need to update it with all the new stuff. So, let's go into, I think I've already got it up. Yeah, the damage. I'm gonna remove the keep condition, keep type, interactor. Okay, remove interactor, and I'll remove crying enemy for now. Okay, so Dragonic Knight. Here we are. It's a scriptable object, like I said at the beginning. And so it's gonna move there. And yeah, gonna probably comment all that out. No, no, so my camera is in front of some bits on my screen, so oh, don't want to do that. I want to just do that. There we go. We're gonna comment those out. Gonna comment this whole thing out. And then there you go. So we're gonna start from there. Like I said, the game object weapon model. We're gonna need that. We are also going to need. So, oh, this would be a good time to actually show you the the plan for the cards. So let me go full screen here for a moment whilst I get the things up. That not Gmail, not Gmail. Google Drive, thank you, and then go into the masked. Go here. So, oh, are you okay? Google Sheets. Okay. So let's. I'm going to take a snipping tool of this actually, and then just show you the snipping tool. So here is the. Let me go back to the mask. There we go. So here is a small snippet, because I don't want to show you everything right now. But here's a snippet of the spreadsheet of the different cards. This is sort of how I organize them. So there'll be 2 body cards, 2 left arm, 2 right arm for each, fire, water, each group. Sorry. Says the ability / weapon. Like I said, body types have the weapon that you can just freely use with no cost. All the other ones have a cost and are like a special ability. And then a passive, which is a percentage when hit, fire cone shoots out. Probably will actually change that to maybe percentage when hit, deal damage. I think I meant to say like deal burn or fire damage or something, or fire damage. But yeah, these passives are going to be essentially like when you add this armor on, you just get a bit of a vulnerability to fire or cold or burn or whatever. But essentially, this is also all the other how I categorize all the cards. So they're either melee, utility, or ranged. They're factions. There's mystic, elemental. Mystic are things like dragons and things like that. Elemental are things like fire, water, ice, acid, smoke, like a sort of what you may think as a raw elemental type of thing. Beast, animals. Vehicle, mechanical stuff, and special is just anything in between. So, for instance, pirate captain comes under special because you can't recategorize it as anything. You can't categorize it as mystic because it's not, pirates were real. But also blast furnace, which is just a furnace. So there we go. So that's so this is the sort of plan with some of the cards. So we should probably get started a bit more. What I will actually do very quickly now is go into the prefabs. Go into the sword pivot. Go into the sword there. And then, so sword pivot is there. And I'm going to just make the sword a bit smaller. That's position, Toby. Oh no! So, no, can we not do that, please? Thank you. This is just, there we go. There we go. So if we go into it now, it's probably going to be a bit smaller. Just want to do that just to make it a bit smaller. Is it weapon holder sword? What is one? Oh no, it is smaller. Yes, it is. Oh, so I was clicking and I was wondering why isn't the animation going? That's because I commented out the whole thing, but it is attacking. Okay, cool, lovely, brilliant. So, right now, I just want it to trigger the animation. And we're just going to do basic attack for it, which is swiping like that. So make sure it does that. Okay, we do need to add some stuff in, so I can't click it multiple times. Oh no! Oh no! No! Oh God! What have I done? Oh no! That's juvenile. Oh, right. Stupid. So stupid. Fix that later. The bit we actually need to do now is the damage type stuff. So, so I'm thinking. Oh yeah. So the reason I brought this up is because not everything, because things like this is utility, is not everything damages. Some abilities just apply status effects or status conditions. But I think. So what I'm thinking is, I'm wondering whether I want to put a list of damage types and list of conditions in here. In the armor card, or if I want to put it in the very specific Dragonic Knight armor card and then put it in the actual specific. I think I want to do specific. and not do a list and just yes. Yeah. Okay. Thought it through. So I want a public damage type. Oh, but do I want for the swords? Okay. So, but right, okay. Yes. So I'm understanding things. So I want also a public condition for the swords We'll call it that. So I like you saw in here, there isn't actually like a condition said here. So obviously the sword is probably going to do, even though it's in fire type, it's probably just going to do slashing or sharp, damage, and not heat, because heat is for things like actually like shooting fire out or lava and things like that. I do think maybe the passive should change from percentage when hit, fire cone shoots out. Oh God, what was I thinking? This was, granted, I haven't checked. This was the thing I planned, like, I wrote out like a year or two ago. So I was off my tits, probably off back then. Just 1 year ago. So I'll probably change that to, percentage when hit to also dealing fire damage, or maybe inflicting the burn effect, things like that. But I want to test the conditions and damage types right now. So essentially, this isn't going to be what the final. I just dropped my pen. What the final Dragonic Knight armor card will look like. This is essentially a test for the combat system, and I'll probably do lots of this stuff when we get to. When we get to first set of cards, when I have to make first set of cards, that's when I'll probably actually write this proper. But this is essentially a test. So, with all that out of the way, save those. Let's go back into Unity. And scriptable objects, cards, armor cards, fire cards, Dragonic Knight. We have 2 fields here for 1 damage type, 1 condition. So we're going to put the burn condition in here, and then we're going to put the sharp damage type there. And then if, certain attacks or certain other armor cards or certain cards in general do different damage types, we can always define those and separately. I think, yes, rather than putting the damage types and conditions in generic and then just leaving them empty if we're not using them, I think I like this better, because there's a bit more control. I still have to do things more manually, but it's more control. Yes. So. With that stuff added in, we're going to come back to Dragonic card, because we need to pass in lots of this information. I'm sorry, my phone's calling. Give me a moment. Hello. So that that was a job recruiter, just asking for some, just asking for some information and stuff. Because I'm still looking for full-time work. Because God knows if this will pay off and voiceover. So, multiple eggs, multiple baskets. Yeah, I hope you did. I did mute myself, but my phone is connected. Yeah, it wouldn't have come through my PC, so that's fine. That's fine. So, where were we? Draconic Knight stuff. Sword. I think now is the sword script stuff. So, ugh. I hope you had a quick bathroom break, I guess, in that time. Yes. Let me check if everyone's how everyone's doing. Hope everyone's good at least. Right. Hide you. Okay. So we need to make the sword script. So we're gonna go. Let's organize it like we organize the cards. Actually, let's go. Let's create. Go into player. Go into. Cool. For the weapons. There you go. Still need to organize a bit more stuff. And then let's just create a C# script called Draconic Knight Sword. So, this sword will attach to the actual sword prefab object. You can hear, yeah, okay, cool. You can. I was wondering if I was talking, you couldn't hear me. And essentially, what am I doing? Where am I at? Prefabs, that's what I want. So it's going to attach to here, the collider, and then it's going to on trigger enter essentially. It's also going to need damage types, resistances, yada yada yada. Not input. Draconic Knight Sword. So sword damage. Let's make make it public for now. Just for now. I might make it a property later. And then essentially we need the damage type it's going to do, and we probably don't even need conditions here because we can just set the conditions in. Oh no, we should probably we need okay. We'll make these public just for now, just to go with it. Damage type called damage type, and then we'll make it just a public condition called sword condition. And then in the initialize script here, also in here, then we're going to need reference. So we got the weapon model, but we're going to change the weapon model to the class Dragon Knight Sword. Why can't we? Why? Am I dumb or something? Why can't I change it to the class name? Is something missing? Is something missing? That's the question. Can I enter here? No. Draconic Knights. I'm missing something really obvious, aren't I? Like, really obvious. I can't think of what it is. I mean, if I give it a namespace of what we I need to change the hero card namespace, don't I? I also need to namespace fucking everything, and I keep forgetting to do that. Namespace or if I go in here and using hc.combat, no. Oh, it's fucking spelt wrong. That's what I'm missing. It's draconic. Right, brilliant. That's fine. Copy that. Rename. Draconic. Brilliant. Spelling things wrong. Go back here. Draconic Knight. Go back here. Draconic Knight. So, yeah, there we go. Cool, brilliant. Let's go back here. Let's change the weapon model to Draconic Knight. Draconic Knight Sword. I know you can play. Interesting, I decided to do that. Okay, so that should... so we need to first off check whether... Oh, God, load, please. We need to check whether the scriptable for that has... where's Draconic Knight? There it is. Yeah, so it needs... You should be able to... Oh, I don't want to have to get component again. I'm going to have to get component. That's a shame. There might be a way around. I might have a look later if there's a way around. But that's fine. So. I mean, this though, Plague. Yeah, this can just be... Initialize. Yeah, I think I'm going to change initialize. Oh, this is going to be really annoying, but just to play a controller. Rebind, maybe. There's going to be lots of refactoring I'm going to have to do. But I'll definitely do that off stream. So we're going to leave things as it is. So let's go in Notepad. So refactor initialize to use not game object. Yeah. So basically in the initialize for the armor card, I want to also essentially initialize setting up everything for this. And to do that, I'll also essentially set up a initialize in here. And this will just take in a fuck it, it's just an armor card. I won't be specific. There we go. Not override. Just a regular void. Initialize. Sword. And then essentially these. Oh, do I want to store the. Do I want to store the type of card I'm using in Dragon Knight, or just use the... No, I don't need to store it. I don't need to store it. Don't need to store it. So... this will have to be of type Draconic Knight armor card, because I need to get specific information from it. So... Swords damage... equals armor card dot bollocks. Oh, sword damage is damage type. Base damage. It's definitely base damage. I'm not losing my mind. Yeah, base damage. Don't know why I made that 0, but sure, go off. Yeah, damage. Because that's... Yeah. Oh, it's a float. It's a float? I guess? Do I want it to be an in? We'll make it a float for now then. The damage type will equal the armor card dot sword damage. I'm gonna change sword damage into fucking rename sword damage type, just so it's bloody obvious. And then sword condition equals armor card dot sword condition. There we go. So all these are set now. They didn't need to be public because we set them here. There we go. I do want to make them serialized just so I can see them in the inspector. This needs to be public, so we can call initialize sword here. Weapon. Weapon. Oh, I don't want to get component. There's got to be a way. Get component. Draconic Knight swords. dot initialize sword, and I need to pass through this. Yeah. Yeah, let's see if that works. Back to oh, yeah, that's why it was a type miss. It needs a sword pivot. Oh, okay. This won't work. Don't like that I'm doing get component this much. Don't like that it's happening this much at all. That's okay. Get component in children. No, not you. Get component in children. I mean, this is going to have to change a little bit anyway when the actual 3D comes in, because I need to actually plan how I'm going to do the 3D. Okay. Let's. Okay, this should be working now. Sword. Right, yes. Sword damages. Okay, let's actually set up the damage. So the damage. Oh, I think it's going to be 100. I think I already set that up. Let's check. Cards, armor, fire. Base damage, 100. Yeah. So this should be adding in the values now. Player, weapon holder. Do that. Open up the weapon holder. Sword. No damage type. No damage type. No damage type. Did I add a damage type in? No, I didn't. Let's try that again. Is someone mowing the grass? I think they are. Hope you can't hear that. And now, player, weapon holder, sword, pivot, sword. There we go. Very simple stuff. So now all we need to do is every time. Now we need to do on trigger. So we'll do on trigger enter. I am going to put a comment here to remind me to, once an enemy has been hit, don't let them be able to take damage again, I guess. So my worry is with the animation, because you swipe like that and the animation goes back up. So swipe, goes back up. I don't want them to be hit on the rebounds or you putting your weapon away. Granted, when we actually get the animations in, the proper ones, hopefully it's not. It's going to be dirt. There's lots of stuff with the animations and collider stuff that we're going to have to play around with. And maybe we don't even add the collider, the collision box on the sword. Maybe it's just in front. It appears just in front of the player and then disappears. And the animation just sort of plays over it. There's multiple ways we could do it. So we have to have a think. But for now, we're just setting up the basis. And like I said, with the Dragonic Knight armor card, this is going to change. This is just a test. So someone is mowing the grass. So with that all being said, let's put a reminder here to watch out for sword maybe disable the collider when it returns to winning position. So essentially, maybe I disable the once this slash has happened before it goes. Once the slash has happened, once it goes back, before it goes back, I disable the collider. But if yeah, that could work. Lots of fiddling around we have to do. But this is just to see if we can see if all the damageable stuff happens. So we need to other take damage, and the damage is going to be the base. It's going to be the base. Yeah, okay. Base damage. Oh, so Do you mind, sir? Okay, do I want it to be it should be an int, shouldn't it? There you go. Okay, first of all, you do that, because I need to see if other errors appear, which it will, I presume. Oh, no other errors, okay. If we go to Juggernaut Knight, base damage, okay, yeah, so we'll make it an int then, for now. And then damage type is okay. Where am I? What am I doing? Track on a night sword. Yeah. That's essentially a very basic version of what we need for the combat. Like the bare bones of once hit, remove damage. It should, as far as I'm aware, that should work now. So, the enemy has his current health is 1,000, max health is 1,000. Max health shouldn't change. Yeah. Yeah. So see what I mean? Every time you slash and it goes back, it takes off another 100. There we go. Oh yeah, and he's dead. Cool. That is combat system basically done. That's a very basic version. So let's go back to that's a very basic version. He takes damage and he leaves. We're gonna have to do some more fiddling around of when we get the proper animations in and everything of how I actually want to do it, whether I actually want the collider to be on the sword, or if I just want it to be in an area in front of the player, and then, turn it on, turn it off, things like that. I'll play around with that idea. That is essentially that. We've got some stuff still to play around with, like the conditions and writing the conditions. Actually, let's write the condition now. Let's write the burn condition. So, if we go back to scripts and scriptables, conditions, burn condition. So, right. So for let's take a proper break. Let's take a proper 5-minute break. We'll come back at the 2-hour mark, where we'll start doing the burn condition stuff. I think that's good. Okay. Right. See you then. Hello, 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 hello. Right, good break. I've done a few breaks, some unplanned breaks today, but that's all fine. So, if we come back here. So, the plan was, if you're just joining, we're creating a combat system. Ow. We've done most of the steps. We've added the damage types and some condition scriptables. This way. Added them in damageable. Updated the Dragonic Knight attack. Just so it's a lot more basic and just so we can test it easier. Started creating the sword script, which obviously we're going to expand on. I'm going to expand on later, but right now it's just at a good baseline basic state. So next would be create the pirate captain attack, which is a gun. But I do actually want to skip to number 9, which is to make the burn condition, because I think that'll be a lot more relevant right now. So we can tick off that and that, which is Dragonic Knight and Sword script, and now we're skipping to number 9, which is make the burn condition. So let's go back to here. So, and also let's go back to here. In fact, let's find where the burn condition is. Here it is. So it is described as heat damage is dealt over time. Everything in here is essentially dealt over a certain amount of time, or happens or stops after a certain amount of time. So inside the base condition, I'm going to move this over here. We have the name and the base time it will last for, and the triggering the condition. Now, I have had second thoughts about whether we should make the site damageable, because not all conditions do damage. Let's bring it up. Not all conditions damage. For instance, just this is your speed being decreased, and we don't control that via damageable. So I want to think of a better way maybe of doing this. I don't just want to use game objects. I was thinking of adding in another interface for eye conditionable. I think for now we will use game objects, but with the intention of changing it later. I say with the intention of changing it later, but we're programmers and we won't do that. So make that a game object for now, and then we can just do game object.find for eye damageable, and then it'll be okay as it is for now, because it's quite. This is just to sort of feel out how we want to do things, and that's fine. As a indie game dev, even if you're working for a company, like lots of times these things won't matter that much. It's good practices. It's very good practice to think of, like, you know, your solid game design principles and your object-oriented programming and things like that. And if you really know a game engine, you know, you can, you know, using game object.find can be quite intensive sometimes, especially if you use it on a large scale, especially if you keep using it like every frame, things like that. But ultimately, lots of these things don't matter. And all that matters is that you're creating something. So that's what I think. That's what I really think only matters. You're creating something. You're having fun. We're all having fun. So, we need the burn condition. So we're going to no, this is the condition. So we need the damage type. Called damage type. Time modifier, basically if the time modifier is 0, hang on. Let's just yield return null this for now. Stop faffing around, we'll just do that. So, when we trigger it, we need to find the eye damageable because we're going to be applying it over time. Essentially, it's going to be damages you, takes like a second break, damages you, take a second break for, you know, the time. So, sorry. My head's gone empty, but that is fine. We need to get the target first. So, target. Let's just do a new eye damageable called new target equals target dot get components eye damageable. Let's call it damageable target. And that's, yeah, so essentially then with the damageable target, we want to take damage, and we want the damage. Oh yeah, we need the actual damage amount, don't we? Yes. Let's just set it. So let's set it to. Let's just have it in here for now. I might add another one in for damage. We'll add it there for now. We'll set it to be a flat number. I do think things need to be a bit more dynamic when... So for instance, depending on like if we do a combo attack... We'll set it. We'll just set it there for now. We'll set it in the inspector. Actually, shouldn't be public. We'll just make it serialized fields. There we go. Let's. Oh, yeah. What is it? What we got? No. Yeah. Sorry. Take damage. We'll just quickly fill in then. Damage amount and damage type. And we'll come back to that in a moment. So we want to go to scriptables, conditions. Here we are. So condition name is burn. The base time it will last for so this will probably be in seconds. So let's say it will last for 10 seconds. The damage type is going to be heat damage, and then the damage amount is going to be 10 as well. Let's make it 50. Why not for now? Well, all these will change when it comes to balancing. So it's called burn. It'll last for 10 seconds. It's going to do heat damage, and it's each time it damages, it'll do 50. Okay, so go back into the Dragonic Knight armor. No, it's going to be Dragonic Knight sword. So other. So we're going to have to call the burn condition. No, sorry, sword condition. Dot trigger the condition, and the target is going to be the other game objects, and the time modifier we're just going to set to 0 for now. So take down. Okay, so this should work. It should take 150, or I guess 250 if it goes back. So it should go down to 850 or 750, the enemy. It's not working. Why is it not working? Do I know why it's not working? I think. Armor, fire, Dragonic Knight. It's got the burn condition. Critical objects, conditions burn. Okay. Now it's time to debug why this isn't working. Let's also go into where's the sword? Dragonite sword. So, okay. Let's play. Oh. Yeah, I forgot. I was testing some other bits out. Close you off. Oh. Come on, yeah, continue, please. Thank you. No, I won't full screen, actually. Draw. There we go. Sword condition, trigger, other dot game object, which is the enemy. Yeah, enemy, it should, yeah. Interesting. Have I done something wrong here? Yes, I have. Yep, I have. It's a numerator, so it needs to have start coroutine. Woo. It just says. Oh, sorry. I'm just checking my YouTube stream. It says that you're not having a. You may have some buffering. I'm sorry if that happens. I should have fucking amazing internet. So I don't know why that's happening. Hopefully it's not that bad though. But yes. So it's coroutine. So we need to start it with start coroutine. Start coroutine. And there we go. That should work now. Right. How's everyone doing? I see some people are joining. don't be afraid to chat or give a follow at least. So interesting thing actually. So let's follows should come up from Twitch, but they didn't yesterday. So if you could test it out, that would be great. If you could give me a follow and test out if my widgets are working, love that. We'll see if that gets people to do it. But let's give it a quick test now. I'm streaming this both on Twitch and YouTube, so use your pick your poison in that regards. Right, let's test this out. Yeah, there you go. There we go. It is working. It took 850 off. So yes, we can. This is working. We just need to actually get it to do things over time and keep damaging you. So, yeah, let's actually bring up the document. Heat damage dealt over time. Essentially, the idea for this is it damages you. It waits for like a second, damages you again, and then it does that for however long we've set, which I think was like 10 seconds or something. And it needs to wait for like a second or like half a second, otherwise it's just gonna deplete your health in a second, basically. It's gonna do it every frame, and we don't want it to do every frame. So, should we take that off actually? I've seen no one's followed, and how dare you not test following out? How dare you? I'm joking. Obviously, by my face, you can definitely tell. There's people writing something there. Okay, that's fine. What was it going to do? It's going to do something. Yeah, bone condition. So I was thinking of taking it off and maybe starting with the pirate stuff, the gun, the projectiles. Could do maybe. I don't know. What time is it? It's 3. Okay, we'll go. Let's. I know, because I don't know how much time we have left. We could probably do this for probably half an hour more, which is fine because I started late, annoyingly. But that's fine. I'll definitely continue this off stream. So, give me one moment. I think what we should do is I'm going to take a picture of this first, because I'm taking a picture of all my whiteboard stuff and then, documenting it all for documentation purposes, obviously. And then, so. Perfect. Let's wipe it all off now. I think what I want to do is go over the combo or the alternate attacks. So, because that is actually something quite important that I need to think and plan out. And I definitely need to get some whiteboard cleaner for this. But that's fine. So, just thinking about time. Let's go full screen webcam. Ow, again. Every time. So. The combo or the alternate attacks. And they're going to be slightly different for each weapon. So the combo / alternate attacks are basically going to only be for the body armors. So the things that have the weapons. So you see here, this is a sword, spiked club, shield gun, and the rest of these are just like abilities, like, you know, fire damage, punches, smoke, you know. So the body armors are the only things that are going to. I should actually show you my computer screen rather than. You see the body armors up here: sword, spike, club, shield, gun. Those are going to be the things that have like the alternate attacks. So, for instance, the swords, like I showed you at the beginning, if you clicked it 3 times, it will do 3 swipes. If you click it once, do 1 swipe. Click it twice, 2 swipes. And that would essentially be a very basic combo. And the more swipes it does, you do a slightly bit more damage. Things for like the gun. The idea was maybe you hold, when you press it, it just shoots it once. When you hold it down, it rapid fires. Or when you hold it down, release it, sort of shoots them all. Kind of like Cassidy in Overwatch, how he can sort of like shoot really quick. But we need to make the system that's flexible for all weapons. So, if we come back to the input manager, the body ability button is the left mouse button. That's what you do to you know, swing your sword, shoot your gun. And right now it's on tap. So if you tap it, it will fire. But there are other ones. There's hold, multi-tap, press, things like that. But they're a bit finicky. So I think I need to have a play around with this. And if I go to press, I can do on release, it will fire the events. And that can be some sort of secondary ability. So for the gun, you hold it down. You have to hold it down for like a few seconds and charge it up and then release, and then it will shoot out. I think that's the idea. So I think we need to define a few slightly different interactions that are different from just pressing or just tapping, which is the basic interaction, that we can use to do the slightly different combos or alternate attacks. We'll call them alternate attacks. So let's do this. Alt weapon attacks. Alt weapon attacks. So we know we have the sword. We'll write down the ones we know. So sword, the club, shield, and gun. The little flintlock pistol. So we know for the sword, we already sort of want a sort of combo of the more times you click, the more damage it does, slight different animations. So that's going to be a multi-click. Or multi-tap, because that's what it's sort of called in Unity. Sorry, these, let me go to full screen. These pens I'm using, say dry wipe barrel, they're low odor. It says it there. They're not fucking low odor. They're not. I just got a whiff of one. It stank. So the club, multi-tap. So the sword is multi-tap. We know the gun is going to be hold down, charge, release. For its alternate attack. And then we get into things like the club and the shields. That's what we've got so far. So for the club, that's going to be another melee weapon like the sword. You're going to be swinging it, but it's going to be a lot heavier. So it's going to be doing a lot more damage, but you're not going to be able to combo it. So I think its alternate attack should be also a hold down, charge, release. to charge up a big sort of smashing to the ground, something like that. So I think hold down charge. And so the multi-taps are going to be easier to do because we won't have to change anything in the input manager. That can stay the same. We just need to write the code in the script, similarly to how it was at the beginning with the different animations and the different attack states. And so we just need to do that for any time we need to like multiple taps. We do multiple taps. For the shield, I think that's also going to be another hold down charge situation, but maybe not hold down charge release. So I was thinking. So the idea with this one is that you sort of melee people with it normally, or maybe the shield like in Hades where you throw it and it bounces back. We do something like that for its main attack, and then for its alternate weapon attack, it's not really an attack. It's because it's in the utility type in the spreadsheet. It's not a proper attack. So that one can you can go into like a defensive stance. So that's like a hold down defense. Okay, let's. I'm gonna open up my spreadsheet again and just rattle off a couple more. So we have a big Hulk toy fist thing, and then a hammer. Then you have like this big old shuriken and a bow. Let's go over the bow because I think that'll be interesting. And also let's go over things like the hammer. I think that the two interactions right now with, multiple taps and holding down to charge or just holding down indefinitely work. And I can implement those. I think I can implement those, yeah. I'm just thinking if there's anything different, because there's some weapons here I don't want to spoil yet. Yeah. I've also been playing a bit of Hades on and off. I haven't actually ever completed Hades, but it's a game style I really like and a gameplay I really like. And so I think lots of its weapons I like to take inspiration from those. And I think I will, because lots of their attacks, you tap it and then you hold down, and that's like the basic. And then you can like dash forward and attack, and it does different things like that. So I think just having the multi-tap and the hold down as the two different types of ways you can do an alternate attack is good. And I think we'll go with that. So if I go back, what do I want to do just to finish off the stream? For computer capture, there we go. We'll save that. I'll figure out, because the input system is a bit, there's no good documentation for it really, and it's kind of a pain to learn, but I don't even know if it's still in packages. Well, in 2021.3, which is the Unity version I'm using, which I could upgrade actually. I don't know why I don't, because it's still quite a small project. And I have the time to upgrade to the latest version and use all the latest features, but I don't know. I probably should. I really should. We'll see. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just rattle off all the other conditions. Should I? I'm going to create... what's the other condition? It's freezing, isn't it? It's drain, freezing, slow, stun, confused. Oh, yeah, I was going to create a none... Yes, let's create very quickly now just a none damage type that isn't typed, untyped. Scriptural objects, damage types. Let's create a damage type called untyped damage. Untyped is... It's an untyped. I feel like that should be capital T. No, let's go none. Because then we can do things like the drain, where because no one's going to have a none damage type resistant or vulnerability. It just takes the damage. So we'll do that. We'll leave that there. Yeah, I like that. I think we'll go with that. All the input manager stuff should probably go in the scripts folder, shouldn't it? Yeah, let's do a bit of organization right now just to finish up. There we go. Can I not do that? I always forget. Can I not do that? Hello, Lolimbo. Do I recognize your name? The bad thing. This is the thing now. I don't know if I recognize people's screen names. Hello, how are you doing? Oh, thank you for following. Right, okay. Oh, no, it did. It doesn't make a sound. But thank you for following. Okay, oh, good. Hope you're enjoying yourself. You're new? Okay, good. Okay, no, we're all good with the input system stuff. Okay, cool. I'll give that a quick test, actually. Yeah, how are you enjoying yourself? Hope you're all good. Thank you for the follow. So I think the reason why I didn't notice the follow and I didn't notice my friend's follow yesterday is because it doesn't make sound when it follows, and it probably should. So I might actually fix that, because I did just see it pop on. Right, let's quickly play. Okay, yeah, the input system's working. Yeah. Let's kill this guy. Obviously, they should do like a damage effect and things like that, but I'm not worried about that right now. Okay, cool. Cool. So what? Oh yeah, refactoring that. Oh. First time chatter as well, just realised. Thank you. So what time is it? It's gone 1:15. Okay. I think for now, because I probably do need to end this. I did start late, sadly. But that's fine. Who should we, if anyone, raise? Just to say we've raided. I mean, I can't really raid on YouTube, I think. Actually, I'm not quite sure. Here's the thing. I'm not quite sure how YouTube really works with their streaming stuff. Oh, let's actually quickly open up this. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to scroll down to my plan. Here we are. Yeah, sorry. I know I was ending soon, but hopefully you come back for the next one. I do it every Tuesday, Thursday, 12 to 4 BST. Well, I say to 4. It's not 4 yet. It's coming up to 4, but I started late, and I probably need to end soon. But combat system is still in progress. This will probably be in the finished category next time you see it, if not nearly there. So I think next time we'll be probably going over the player actions, abilities, and the health. Oh, like the player's health and the draw system and the armor. So, I think that will be next time. Yeah, I'll make a plan for it like I did today. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Let's raid someone. Who is in the... let's bring this out here. Oh, this is me. Who is in the... Let's go to browse. Shut up. I want software game development. Let's go to someone else here. Let's do full box. I don't know who they are, but let's do it. Thank you everyone for joining me both on Twitch and YouTube. I know people dropped in and out. Feel free to, the VODs are going to be available on my YouTube. All links are down below. Feel free to donate or go on the coffee if